for a career in business, but when he came to Louisiana, like so many of us, he fell in love with our landscape and with our land and with the beauty of our state, and he decided to launch what turned out to be a hugely successful career as a nature photographer. But CC is much more than simply a photographer. He is a storyteller and a person who treasures everything great about Louisiana, and he's been a wonderful ambassador for our state. And so it's particularly fitting that his magnificent photograph serves as our bicentennial stamp, as you'll see in just a few moments. It's also fitting that this stamp will be unveiled on April 30th, 2012, next year. The date that Louisiana became a state will also be the date in which this stamp receives its first issuance to people all across America. So thanks to CC Lockwood for this great design, and thanks to all of you for being a part of this exciting kickoff to what will be Louisiana's greatest year ever in 2012, our bicentennial celebration. Thanks for being with us today.
Yes, it's time for the stamp unveiling. Please let me introduce Mr. CC Lockwood, nature photographer, Rachel Cousin, the manager of marketing for the Louisiana District of the U.S. Postal Service, and Mr. Trent Nelson, manager of the Post Office operations for the Louisiana District. It's time for the unveiling. Thank you.
I want to thank the Lieutenant Governor for that kind introduction, and he kept it a secret since April. They selected that picture from me 3 years ago, and the only one I told was my wife. So that was a hard secret to keep. It's quite an honor to have one of your, in fact, my favorite image on a U.S. postage stamp that the whole world can use. And I want to thank the Bicentennial community. General Honorary, I appreciate that comment about common sense, because when I'm out there in the chapel aisle looking for these pictures, common sense gets me back to where I park my car. So I've only, I guess Louisiana was, as a state, was 155 years old when I came in here. So I've got to see 45, almost a fourth of its statehood. And a couple of my heroes when I was growing up, Lewis and Clark, were explorers, and that's kind of what led me into being a photographer, is to explore. And I really explored Louisiana, and especially the Chapel Basin. And as you see the image, I looked for something that's really dear to me, peaceful time with evening and sunsets. And reading about Lewis and Clark growing up led me to explore the state, and I'm so happy that I ended up here, and so proud to be a Louisianan, and appreciate everybody here kicking off this 200-year celebration for the greatest state in the nation. Thank you.
This is quite an honor, and on behalf of the Postal Service, we are just ecstatic to be here tonight. The Postal Service salutes the Bicentennial of Louisiana statehood next April with the issuance of a first-class forever stamp. And the stamp is, of course, the image based on a photograph of our renowned environmental photographer and writer, CC Lockwood, who resides in Baton Rouge. And as you'll see in a minute, the photograph is a flat lake which is near Morgan City, Louisiana. And the Postal Service is proud to celebrate Louisiana's bicentennial by issuing this forever stamp. And if you're not familiar, forever stamps are issued, and they're always equivalent to first-class postage. So whenever you use a forever stamp, it'll be equivalent to whatever the first-class postage is at that time. So join me in welcoming our honorees and unveiling the forever stamp.